Hey everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I've got with me Elijah, Max, and Jason. Guys, how's it going? How's your week been?
It's going well.
It's been
Going
good,
well?
man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything interesting? Anything going on? Max, anything going on with you this week?
Um, no, but
Okay.
I
No conventions, no
I
No
actually
signing?
just
No
want to
book
announce
signing?
though. No,
huh?
no, not this week, but
Uh-huh.
in October 8th, I will be at a convention selling books, comics and
Oh,
cocktails
damn.
in Canoga Park. I'll have more info soon
Yeah.
about everything, but
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll post it here for sure, guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice,
That's cool. And
dude.
then you're going to show off your comic so you've got
yeah.
three episodes. You've got two episodes are online, right? And then the third is
You have
teasing.
two are out. There's a
Right.
preview for three.
hmm
Yeah, you check it all out on my Substack.
Nice. Very cool.
Nice, nice,
How's it
nice.
going there, Chris? That's cool. And then you're going to be pretty much promoting all three of those comics, and you're into the fourth one at this point,
I have like four. Yeah, I have four done. Working on five
right?
right now.
Oh wow, sweet. Cool.
Yeah, five is pretty close. It's getting there. It's almost
Right.
done. It looks awesome. I can't wait for
Cool.
it.
That's
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, I was going to say, is there an evolving process that you're discovering from when you started to where you're at now? Because I'm just kind of curious on that, whether
Honestly,
we,
everything's been just streamlined.
right?
Everything's
Okay.
just been, as I work with the artist and as he
Mm-hmm.
works with me, everything
Right.
just gets easier.
Comes together. That's great. That's cool. That's awesome. Hey there, Anchorman. How you doing? Jason, much going on with you?
Um, let's see. I made it 100 episodes in on One Piece, the anime.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, the
I
anime.
okay.
Watching
All
anime
right.
now?
So if I'm doing it
Okay.
in this pace,
Sure.
I can get like 100 episodes in a week.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So in
That's a
10
lot of
weeks, I could be
TV
caught
watching.
up on the show.
10
Wow.
weeks? Wow, is that maybe like,
Damn.
is that long?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
It's over. It's reached past 1,000.
Okay,
episodes.
Wow.
Jason, don't be shocked, don't be surprised. I did watch episode 1 of One Piece last night.
Oh, cool.
The live action.
You said
the
you were
live
gonna.
action.
You said you were gonna watch it, so
Yeah,
I'm not that.
I
surprised.
said weeks ago, but I finally watched the first episode.
Cool.
It was interesting. Just like going only just from the pilot episode itself. They obviously set up a premise of what it's like. It obviously has got a certain amount of
Mm-hmm.
live action anime style of form and cheesiness going on. Max, is it every week at this
The
time with
honking
those
bear?
guys honking butts? It's like
Oh,
every
it's
I
single
wish I could say it's just
they're
this
perfect
time.
timing.
Hey,
They have
dude.
perfect timing every
You
time.
just
It's
got like
every it's every day, all
Uh-huh.
day,
Yeah.
nonstop.
Uh-huh.
you never
Okay.
gotta call Grubhub
Yep.
because you can just go out there and get
That's
whatever,
it,
like
yeah, for sure.
all kinds of different things in the magic.
So,
Mangoes by
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Mangoes,
So-
tamales,
uh-huh.
corn.
Yeah. So going
Oh
just
yeah.
back to One Piece. Sorry, Jason, I interrupted you there.
Oh, it's all good.
Yep.
But
But
what do you think?
oh yeah, as the live action show, yeah, it was. It took a little bit. I wasn't kind of into it in the first half an hour, but as I saw the characters start to come together as this little, obviously a team or eventually a team, I found the humor kind of interesting, and I was actually getting into it by the end of the episode. I was really tired, so I never got the chance to sit through episode 2, but I'll probably enjoy
Oh,
it
what a
later
surprise! Brent was tired.
I'm gonna,
I
I'm gonna
get
watch this
tired
right
at
before I
night.
go to sleep.
I-
Like, I know.
No,
what
it put no.
Shut
Shut up.
I'm just messing with you.
I'm gonna put
No,
that on a.
No, I
sorry,
stop and I
Brent's
sit
tired.
down and my brain shuts down. That's the problem. It's like, yeah, oh, shut up.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing about One Piece. It's character driven.
Sure.
Of anything. Like,
Max, have you watched the live action show yet? Or?
I haven't watched the live action yet because I was using my parents' Netflix, and the day I went to use it, I got kicked from their whatever their location policy.
Uh huh. So, sorry, Jason, you were saying again. I did it again.
Oh,
Erlen,
no,
how's it
okay.
going?
no,
yeah.
it's character based,
Right.
if anything. Like, that is probably the most important aspect of like the show of
Right.
the story.
Yeah.
Is that just each origin story of the character
Okay.
is like really intense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's something they nail in the live action.
Yeah.
They somehow like found the essence of the the source material
Mhm.
and did a good job portraying that in like live action, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because I was going to
And one
say
of the best translations.
yeah. the lead
live
character,
action.
I can't remember the lead character's name off the top of my head, but the actor playing him is
Yeah.
very animatic in his face. He's very expressionistic and very almost over the top in a certain way.
Look at Brent throwing around $5 words, animatic and impressionistic.
Elijah,
What
have you
is
had the chance to
this?
watch it yet or not?
No, I haven't watched it. I saw like
Okay.
the quick trailers.
Right.
It looks interesting. I need to
Yeah.
sit down. I kind of forget that I still
Yeah.
have
They
access to watch it through
Right.
through Jason, but just don't jump on it. Whatever.
Yeah, they nail it with like the casting.
Mhm.
I'm really happy with how they casted it
Yep.
too. So
Yeah,
it's good
they
stuff.
seem cool so far. Interesting set of characters for sure.
Another thing I started watching was Hacks. And
Hacks.
I love Hacks.
God,
I love Hacks.
What is
Oh
it?
my
we
god.
got roped in. We just started it.
Mhm.
We're like a few episodes in, but
Is that also on Netflix?
man, no,
on
what was that,
Max.
HBO? Oh, HBO
Yeah.
Max. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
HBO Max. If you watched, it's the lady who plays Silk Spectre in
Hello.
the last
How's it going?
HBO.
Uh-huh.
You may remember her from Designing Women.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
anyone ever watched that?
No, not really. And I was like, okay.
You know what it is, though. Right?
I'm
Like, do you know
aware
what
What's
of
her
it
name?
is?
Jean Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's
Fair
funny
enough.
because she's portraying someone who had a sitcom career in the '80s,
Okay.
and so like it's appropriate for her, like as an
Okay.
actor.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great show. I know. I remember you mentioning it sometime, Max. But
Oh yeah, it's top tier for me.
yeah, it's top tier. It's a Emmy award-winning show. So
Cool.
rope the sin.
Yep. Anything, Elijah, on your end? Anything cool? Anything fun?
Nothing to report. I was working with you this week for
Yep.
a couple of days, and
Yep. Got a bit of work this week too. So
yeah, trying to finish up four new CBGB's miniatures.
cool. Nice.
So
Yeah. I ended up
Getting
picked up two, one Sideshow and one Hot Toys. One of them is right here, the giant Blurg, and the other one is a Yoda. I'm actually just recorded myself the unboxing. I haven't edited and put them up, but I look out for putting the unboxings online later this week. I'm going to edit them together and.
Wait, what's the Yoda one? Which one?
Yoda? Yoda is a Clone
Era
Wars,
of Yoda.
Era of Clone Wars Yoda. Yeah, so he's got slight
Oh,
animated.
okay.
Yeah,
the animated looking one.
yeah. That's kind of cool. It's pretty cool. Anyway,
Is he doing a backflip?
nope. But I've got him sitting over here on top of a battle droid, splicing it because I'm building slowly building my Clone Wars 12-inch figure display that I've just spent some time. I'm going to do a big recording on putting all this display together over the course of the
So it's a hot toy Yoda from the Clone Wars. So what makes him different from other eras of Yoda? Is it pretty much
He's
just like
agile.
Attack of the? No,
do
what?
I have to? Do I have to get him? Do I have to walk over there and pick him up?
No, I'm talking about his like outfit. Would this be like?
He has his hood up.
No, he's still got his regular. He looks like he is from the prequels. He's got the robes.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, would this be like Attack of the Clones Yoda? Pretty much.
How many hot toys are there, Anchorman, or how many hot toys do I own? Because there is a difference. There is probably like thousands of hot toys that exist because they do everything from the Marvel shows to whatever. As
over
for
the
Star
years
Wars,
and like
over
the
the
things
year,
that they stopped making and old collections that they keep redoing one character or whatever.
How many do I own now? About 35 of them, maybe 36.
Really?
Someone do the math.
Well, I don't know. There's a few. There's
that's
a few.
Just Star Wars.
That's just Star Wars. And a couple of Back to the Future. So I've got Marty McFly up there and a few.
Okay,
others.
it's more like 78.
Brent's putting their kids through college. He's putting them.
I got no kids. Fortunately, I don't have to put them through college. I can pick up Star Wars stuff. But anyway,
But
okay,
that's what I was saying. Like, so it would just be like that Yoda. But like, what other things did they add to him to make him special that he was a part of Clone Wars?
Nothing really. I mean, he basically is just Yoda. They changed the animation, the style look slightly for animation, and the actual figure is actually kind of a fun figure. But yeah, I mean, he's basically just regular Yoda in the cloak. They never did anything. They never gave him any new uniform or outfit. I think in the High Republic, he's got a slightly different costume more High Republic look-esque in its design. The
Mm-hmm.
Jedi kind of got a bit relaxed when they got into their prequel era because most of them were just robes and a basic undergarment.
Well, yeah, because they're sitting most of the time. You know,
They're
You're
pretty much
feeling,
sitting,
like,
yeah, exactly.
comfortable. You're just wearing
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like a
Precisely.
bathrobe.
Yeah, that's it. It's their
much, yeah.
bathrobes in the Jedi Council, and
I would
before
have
they
thought,
used to go out to level.
you know, when you see Yoda for the first time in Empire, you'd think that like those are just rags he's wearing in that he just made in Dagobah.
Yeah.
But it's just like what he's been wearing forever.
40 years.
It's like you don't see him in anything else really. It's just the
Master of
rags
style,
getup,
he's
dude.
not.
Yeah, but that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like to keep things simple and iconic, you keep them in to a certain degree minimal. The main characters in minimal costumes, unless you're a female and then George Lucas dresses up Amidala in 20 different
Unless you're
costumes.
Queen Amidala.
Or even Princess Leia has different outfits for everything. You know, she gets captured. You know, when Queen Amidala gets captured, she's got a robe for being captured. When she goes off on space, she's got a robe for
Oh
being
yeah,
in space.
there's definitely costume changes for that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, but you know, it's just in case.
But the
You
guys
gotta
are
know
stuck.
it's
Yeah.
you gotta know it's Yoda.
That's it,
So we
yeah.
can't really change
That's it.
anything. It's not like he's a green thing
Right.
that no one else looks like.
Well, if they do change something, though, if you notice in Star Wars on a costume for a character, then it's for a purpose or a big reason kind of thing. And
yeah,
usually...
to sell toys.
Oh, absolutely, completely. That is the purpose. Come on,
That
this
is the
week,
main
this
reason,
week we got Ahsoka the White, and how cool was that costume?
Yeah, she went full Gandalf. It was kind of crazy.
She went complete. Look at this, guys. Look how cool is that costume right there.
Oh.
Ahsoka the White. I will buy that
She
hot
just
toy
needs
in
her
a heartbeat.
staff.
Yeah, she does need a
Yeah, she's
staff.
missing
Like
that
she,
staff.
yeah.
How long do you think it's going to be before they announce that that's coming? Like, would they do that like the day afterwards? Like, boom, it's
Well,
ready.
no, they haven't announced it this week. I don't know. See, that's the thing. Also, is that Lucasfilm obviously are very secretive about including toy companies. Because anything that gets made by a Lego toy is usually the first to leak a new look and style. The look and style of Jason Syndulla was leaked well before we even knew Jason Syndulla was officially in the show, because Lego made a figure of it and they get all the information.
Well, he's still
but
but
we
still
have
like
got-
looks the same way he did in
Yeah.
like Rebels, give or take. You know.
Sure, yeah. But this is the Sabine Wren figure that they're releasing. They're releasing it with a Lothcott cap.
Brent, speaking of hot toys,
Yeah,
so you,
yeah.
you got recently you got an Anakin from the Clone Wars, right?
I did, yes. Yes.
So how close did they get with his real action outfit in this last episode when you
Well,
compare that
in
hot toy?
In our reaction video, I kind of geeked out when seeing it. It is 100%.
As the hot toy?
100%. And the hot toy of Anakin that was based around the Clone Wars
Yeah.
it's the animation
consistent.
was absolutely 100% consistent. It's incredible. It is such a great piece.
It could have served as like
yeah.
the source material for the live action.
Oh, yeah.
Then, huh?
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that? Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure.
You think like they're like, all right, we need a
had a
this
group.
to translate to live action.
Yeah.
Let's
Grogu
what do you
does
have
these
to
things.
reference that? Like
Yeah.
did they look at the hot toy or what came first? Did they did they get an inside look of what he was gonna look like for the hot toy collection? Or
Hot Toys did a series of live action esque figures of, say, Hayden Christensen in a Clone Wars era costume, and I think they did the same with Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. I've got one of the earlier Obi-Wan Kenobis before Hot Toys took over. I think it was one of the Sideshow originals, and it was Obi-Wan in the clone armor with his Jedi cloaks, over the top and underneath, and it looks amazing. And they're re-releasing a version of that live action-esque looking Clone Wars Obi-Wan next year in 2024. So I've got that pre-order.
so that's cool. So that Clone Wars Anakin is just exactly like this last
Yeah,
episode's Anakin.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Except for the hairstyle. The hairstyle was shorter on that version of Anakin that we saw in this. But that was also the shorter hairstyle the animated series had as well. So it was an interesting choice. But it was still mind blowing. This week was crazy. Before we jump into the Ahsoka news, let's kind of jump on a couple of well, smaller things. Do you guys see this? The trailer for
Yeah.
Aquaman
Yeah.
It looked
2?
decent until Jason Momoa started talking. It's like I don't know what this dude is. I think he's not funny. I just think he's kind of
Wait, so it looked decent for like 2 seconds.
yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
looked decent until he started
I
opening his mouth, and it's the same dumb
wait.
personality in
I
every movie.
I actually don't mind Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I quite enjoyed the first film. It was the CGI in this trailer that took me out. Whether it's unfinished or whether that's it, they just didn't want to throw money at it because this was the last of the, of the old franchise. I don't know, but it didn't
Looks
look
better than
anything.
Flash.
Uh, yeah,
That's not a high bar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
that's a
not a
pretty
high
low
bar.
bar.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, I will probably go see it because the director, James Wong, was it? Yeah.
One.
I do enjoy his work, and I thought he did a really impressive job with the first one. So hopefully the story is as strong as the first one at least.
I
In
did
this
laugh when I
sequel.
saw Aqua Baby though.
Yeah,
Aqu-
yeah.
That's his official name in the comics, Aqua
Really,
Baby.
Aqua Baby.
I
And
mean,
I
makes
encourage
sense.
everyone to look up Aqua Baby's story because they're not going to do it in the movie. But
Shit.
let's just say Aquaman and his sidekick Aqualad
Yeah.
had gotten into a disagreement over the life of his child.
Yeah. Elijah, what were your thoughts? Did you see the trailer yet?
I saw the trailer.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's like no Amber Heard. I mean, it's the first thing I noticed. Like they weren't showing her, and that
You
like
see her for like a second.
the trailer's fairly long. And you're like, they're not one shot,
Yeah,
and then
fair
you
enough,
see
Chris.
like one thing that like probably not even her. It's probably a stunt double in the costume or something. But I never saw the first one. It doesn't look that appealing to me.
Fair
Like
enough.
it's still like I've never watched the first one yet, so like,
Fair enough then. Okay.
I'm not gonna get around to watching this one anytime soon.
Sure,
But like
yeah.
the trailer was enough to be like, oh, okay, this is what it's gonna be like. That's
Yeah.
all. That's like I don't need to see it. I saw the trailer, and that's about okay. I get it.
Yeah. Now they did not push this film back any further. They want this film done at the end of
Just
this year.
get it out.
They
Yeah,
just want to
get it
get
over
it
with.
because that's also been put on hold for a little while. It's had multiple pickups. It's had a lot of
This is the last one in
back
their
and forth.
DCEU, whatever that
Yeah.
Snyder, whatever
Yeah.
the lingering of the Snyderverse type
Yeah.
stuff.
And compare that trailer compared to Blue Beetle. It feels about the same level of kind of cheesiness, but Blue Beetle for me, at least as a story, had a follow through that worked.
But I think Blue
a lot
Beetle
more
works as
than-
a cheesy, fun character, whereas Aquaman acting like a weird 16-year-old kid full of energy is just a little too goofy for me.
Max just doesn't like Jason Momoa, does he?
I like Jason Momoa as an actor, but he's
Okay.
doing the same personality now that he did in
Right.
the last Fast and Furious movie.
Uh-huh.
And
Fair
it's
enough.
just like weird 16-year-old kid full of wonder and too much energy waiting to break stuff.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Any last thoughts there, Jason, on Aquaman 2? You gonna see it
I like the first one. I'll probably see it
when it
if I
comes
get
out?
a chance.
Yeah.
Probably on streaming.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'd be curious. Anyway, there was not much to go on about that. I'm sure we'll see another trailer beforehand, but what was it?
Aquaman is their most successful movie, though, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's made.
Yeah,
It's
first
the only
one made
one's made over
$1
$1
billion.
billion. Yeah, which is like out of all.
Which
of
I
the-
really liked. I liked that one a lot.
Yeah, it was
It
fun.
was decent.
It was decent.
I haven't bought it. I
Yeah,
remember
really.
because I wanted to be able to watch it whenever I wanted.
That's funny. They've got
Is
a.
it funny, Brent?
Yeah, well, it is. It is funny that you bought it, but maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. The Marvels. They've got the IMAX poster up for it. That movie's out in a little under a month's time as well. I am kind of interested, as I said. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Loki will be out before that point in time. This will be playing at the same time as Loki, I guess. Actually, wait, is it November? Yeah, October.
Yeah, it should
pretty
be.
close to it. Loki might have just
overlap.
finished by then. Actually, Loki might have just finished. I'm not sure if Loki's 6 or 8 episodes this time around. Yeah, I mean, Marvel's new poster. Another, a few bits of Star Wars news outside of Ahsoka. 20 years ago today, Revenge of the Sith finished filming, which is kind of crazy. 17th of September, 2003. Yeah, that's crazy that that's 20 years ago that, well, 18 years ago technically the film came out, but 20 years ago they finished shooting. And also the other Star Wars news this week, Lando is no longer going to be a series or a spin-off. It's going to be put to the big screen. Now, from what we understand, what's his name? Donald Glover and his brother had written a script or of some sort. Apparently a while ago now. So it was before the writer's strike had happened. So whatever's been going on has been in the works for a little while, by the feel of it. So
I just think this means it's not going to come out now. None of their announced movies happen.
Well, if you consider the fact that Donald Glover was on his other show at the time, and he didn't have the chance to break away when they did announce Lando series, 3 years ago now, 2019, I think it was.
I don't think it's about actors or directors or anything. Though I just think they're having a problem movie-wise, internally with production with them. I think Taika Waititi's movie got scrapped because of the Thor reception, and then there's a bunch of other scrap movies for various reasons, like Patty Jenkins' movie. I think they're quick to announce these movies, but then they get cold feet about production.
But this one has been on the line for a while. I do understand this has been about Donald Glover's schedule, and it feels like that now with him finished off all of his other projects, that they could very easily pick up and move into this. And if they do fit in a Lando film in between these other 3 films that they've just announced this year from Celebration, which is a Dave Filoni film based in the Mandoverse era, a feature film based in Rey's era in post Rise of Skywalker, and one that is going to be done by James Mangold, which is pre 25,000 years or earlier, long ago with the Jedi. It'd be interesting to see them throw a Lando film in there. I was kind of hoping for a TV show, I guess, but
it feels like it's better placed for TV.
Yeah, it does.
A short 2-hour Lando movie just doesn't feel like it fits right now. That's kind of just like any character.
They just connect it to Solo now.
That is the thing they could.
I mean, they connected to Solo, but even Solo was a couple years ago, and then Lando's he is one of the lower tier characters. It just seems weird to have.
But Donald Glover has a following all of his own.
I totally get that. It just
in response to what Max said about. In response to what Max said about it, I think Donald Glover still has a winning streak right now, so there's a good chance.
I don't know. Wait till Mr. and Miss Smith comes out.
Yeah, well, I'm saying as of now, he still has a winning streak.
Right.
I just learned about that today.
I didn't know about that.
I just heard about that.
Is it like a remake or something?
A remake, yeah.
And, he's doing a TV show for Amazon. I saw the pictures, and it doesn't. Really? It looks pretty standard.
I know, but as it's got the girl from Pen 15 and him, so I like both of them. So
I did see a horribly mean comment that made me laugh a little too hard, where someone said
I saw the
they
same
missed the
thing
point
too.
of the franchise where both characters were supposed to be hot.
Dimitri, you suspect it would be a trilogy? I would like to see a trilogy between Han and Lando-esque kind of thing. I mean, you're talking about just like a Lando trilogy, like as in the Coruscant Chronicles.
No, I think he means it would go like Solo, Lando, Rebo.
Who?
Lobo.
Max Rebo.
Rebo. Max Rebo. What?
No, it'd have to be Lobo, right?
Lobot. I was what? No, it feels like if they do anything, it'd be fun to intertwine Jabba the Hutt somewhere in that story arc. If that becomes,
I'm more interested in them intertwining Lobot, dude.
Yeah,
because he has an interesting backstory.
This might be
right?
kind of semi-solo too.
Yeah, it's kind of on the nose, but it does have like an interesting. He has some interesting lore.
If they're gonna
stuff to include into the Star Wars universe,
I'm sure.
Yeah,
he's that bridge between droid and human. interesting.
They're gonna start doing really side characters. I just like to see a Bib Fortuna movie. Like,
sure.
how do you work his way up? Like, like where'd he come from? Like,
he just gets unceremoniously killed by Boba Fett.
A series of shorts.
I
would like to see a series of short 15-minute episodes of something on these characters, just different.
I think they could do that.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Characters, yeah.
Here, with a Lando solo universe. See, here's the other thing I wanted to bring up too. Kathleen Kennedy. They announced what's his name who played Solo?
Alric.
Alden Emmerich. They announced him to play Han Solo. Harrison Ford gave his blessing. They go through, the film didn't do so well because I think timing and a lot of things. They walk away. Kathleen Kennedy then turns around and says, well, guys, we're going to not kind of work on different actors as their younger selves anymore. And here we are, we're getting Lando approved, again with Donald Glover, who played
already established.
They've already established, that's the thing. It's like...
back to like when you said... They got Harrison Ford's blessing.
Sure, yeah.
I wanted to know what that's like. I don't give a fuck.
No, he actually there's actual footage. There's footage of him. There's actual footage of him meeting Alden Emmerich. There's footage of him. Actually, he said, "This looks great."
Yeah, on camera. But like the blessing was probably like, I don't give a shit.
Probably not. I don't know.
Just make the movie.
Being the case, I am still curious to see a Lando series, and the Crisian Chronicles were a book series way back. So the idea that Lando could be narrating and giving his own chronological essence of his younger days, and seeing Billy D. Williams and he's
I just think the problem with Lando is he doesn't have a good enough sidekick.
Well.
He can find another sidekick.
They can make sidekicks. And became part of the Falcon.
Oh man,
that's what I mean. Though he's kind of just like he works best, kind of like teaming up with your favorite heroes.
But
he is the sidekick in a way.
Right, correct. Yeah, but even in Rebels, he had he's got a series of feelers out to the galaxy. He's almost the
he's always connected. He's
almost the Spider of the Game of Thrones universe, or who's got feelers out across the galaxy for things and people and connections and all that.
As far as like Lando content, I would like to see it like told through him. Sure. So like the live action you're seeing is kind of like embellished by him, so it's like extra,
right?
Almost
flamboyant
story,
almost flamboyant,
like almost exaggerated story, like exaggerated story where it's like it didn't really happen, but
so you're not seeing like the real events play out.
That'd
you're seeing
fun.
His translation of the events play out.
Maybe Donald Glover will go that direction,
and then it's Donald Glover doing that stuff where he's like just like the hero all the time. And then
you get at a bar,
Han Solo correcting
aliens,
him.
like,
sure. Exactly. Then the Han Solo correcting him, and like you get like a real like the events how they actually played out. But that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be good with quick beats. There's like show Lando winning a card game, and Han Solo goes, "Tell him how it really happens," and he just gets punched in the face.
See, I'd still like to see Lando go up against Jabba the Hutt. I mean, how would Lando deal going face to face with Jabba? I mean, as
I think he'd be too smooth for Jabba. I think Jabba's kind of a pushover because of how long did Han Solo owe him money? Like I feel like he's the kind of guy like for a while you can say, "I'll get you your money, Jabba. I promise." Yeah. And he'll be like, "Oonga boonga, get it for me."
Yeah. Then again, also consider the fact that we see him there in Return of the Jedi in the skiff uniform. How maybe he hasn't met Jabba before that point in time too. Who knows?
I always took that as he couldn't. He was wanted man.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, actually. Yeah.
No,
why else would he be in disguise?
Yeah.
If we learned anything from Solo, Lando has just a collection of costumes.
That's true.
Yeah. That's it. He didn't beat someone up for that costume.
Right.
Like
he just
had it.
Hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sitting up there with all his capes. And what other costumes?
I imagine he's got a few different stormtrooper outfits on that ship.
Oh,
he's the Fletch of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, it'll be fun to see what they do. I'm hoping that everything moves forward once the writers' strike and the actors' strike are over, because I for one want to see more of that time period in the middle of the Empire with the Lando story. I'd like to see Alden Ehrenreich return as Han Solo. If he's not key and center, at least have him there and around.
What I'd like them to establish is that Han Solo and Lando are like total losers and really can't do much. Like without the rebellion, they're nobodies. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Like that's why like Han Solo, when you meet up with him in Force Awakens, he's back to doing the old shit he was doing before and in massive debt again. He didn't learn his lesson.
You're right. Yeah,
and like Lando kind
of stayed out of it and just rested on his laurels and was like a champion.
He was just hiding in Cloud City. They're kind of just bums, dude. Yeah. Like there's nothing special about them.
I don't know. Lando was kind of the opposite. Lando rested on his laurels, and
he lost the Falcon. He lost the Falcon. Like he lost the Falcon to Han.
I hope we learn how he actually got Cloud City.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. That'd be I don't know if that'd be a very interesting story, but it would be.
There's a sitcom where they're roommates in an apartment together.
Yeah, well, they're opportunists and they just lucked out for like the trilogy.
No,
but outside of that,
but eventually their luck goes bad, and you see that all the time with both Han and Lando.
Han couldn't even gather the money to pay Jabba. After how long?
I do think we will, if we don't see Han in the show, I think they'll probably have Chewie in a bit of the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because of how easy it would be to include him. Like
they'll see Han. Alden Ehrenreich is still pretty much looks the same. He hasn't altered, much in the last couple of years, in the last 5 years. So I think you could get away with it.
I do think the problem they have, though, is a lot of those Crimson Dawn storylines were tied up in the comics, and it was fleshed out, and then that event did happen, with all that big stuff with Chira and all that. It just happened off screen at this point, so they just kind of have to ignore all that.
I think they will alter and change things as they need to. Dave Filoni's constantly even changing his own material. I mean,
Dave Filoni's the kind of guy who, even though Marvel is saying these comic books are canon and Lucasfilm is saying these comic books are canon, Filoni's like, maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, I know. Which for me personally, because I don't read the comics or I don't, read the novels so much or anything. I kind of am not so concerned about that, but I do understand people's frustration. They get to follow this idea that there is a new canon and they're accepting that, but then within the canon events, things are constantly changing. Even
I understand the side of it. I don't need all of the comics to be canon, but I think when they showed Black Kirsten in the Boba Fett show, I was waiting for more of those floodgates to open with characters like Dr. Aphra and they have some other cool characters like Poe's family and
So hang on, Anchorman asks a very good question here. Do I worry, or do any of you worry, technically, as to there being no story left in Star Wars? No, I've always said personally,
there's too much story left.
I've always said that character robot droid number 6 in the background of a show has got a story. Alien number 3 in the background over there has a story. That's the kind of universe George Lucas created. That everybody there has a story. I don't need to see a multiverse. I need to just see everyone's stories.
The Springfield Star Wars.
I'm concerned. I'm just concerned there's too much.
Really? Okay.
Sometimes it's overwhelming, dude.
Yeah.
It's like easy on the stories,
many active shows and too many active things going on right now.
There's a lot of things going on, but that also depends on the way things are presented, and there's going to be something for everybody. Obviously, as I said, Andor was not the thing for me, even though I thought production quality was amazing. But Ahsoka is definitely something for me, but may not be for somebody else. So far, Ahsoka's doing relatively well in the ratings, from what I hear. People are very much raving about it, so we'll see.
What I think is interesting is there's so much story left to tell with just Jedis. Even though we've seen so much Jedis, it feels like we've seen so little Jedis.
Balaam, I want to see his backstory so bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like it feels like they skip over a lot of the more interesting aspects of Jedi, and then they recently announced the next era of Star Wars following the trilogy, the sequel trilogies, the New Jedi Order. but we have absolutely no info on that whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of story left to tell.
If anything, this mystery and like ambiguity between these like really compelling characters is true Star Wars tradition.
Sure. Yeah.
It's when you start to learn more about a character, do they kind of like it kind of takes away sometimes.
That's it. And that's always goes back to what George Lucas and Dave Filoni learned from that philosophy is that
Boba Fett effect.
You tease people about
exactly.
Yeah,
Boba Fett was cooler until we saw his whole story.
He's cooler because and
until he's riding banthas. Then he became a meme real quick.
The mystery, yeah, exactly. The mystery
even from when you saw him as a kid, you're just like, oh, that's Boba Fett.
But the mystery.
I didn't mind that. When his dad died, I was like, okay, I see his disdain for the Jedi, and everything made sense. But then when you get to his whole bounty hunter warlord arc, I'm like, this guy's the nicest warlord ever. Like, I imagine he has tea parties.
I distinctly,
it was just tomorrow Morris.
I distinctly remember an interview with George Lucas in the late 80s on television, and he was asked, so how did Boba Fett become so mysterious and so popular? And George Lucas sits there and he literally goes and shrugs his shoulders like he didn't know.
Because he forgot to include the backstory and made people fill in their
own blanks. Somebody designed it for me and it looks cool and it just looks cool.
No, guys, the outfit's cool. That's why.
In the intent though of not giving a lot of information, it
was
made
just
that character more
mysterious.
It made it more mysterious.
I know. We're all on the
people
same
love
page
the mystery. There. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like so, that makes Jaws so good.
Yeah.
You don't see the monster.
Sure. No,
I think the reverse though is Captain Phasma, who was trying to have the Boba Fett effect by not telling anything about her. But I feel like with a compelling backstory, she would have been a really cool character.
Yeah, you can't.
They tried too hard.
You can't force mystery on a character, but at the same time, that you play with the strengths of that. You don't define too much. You leave it up for interpretation. Even Ahsoka has been left up for interpretation. Did Ahsoka die or did she not? That's up. They don't define it, but they leave it up for interpretation for each individual. And once the individual is
Jedi's Schrodinger's cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think it's the same thing with with Gandalf. It's like wizards can't technically die, and Jedis are entangled with the Force. She may have died, but she's alive now, and that's what really matters.
Yeah. See, I mean, here's the thing, though. Kanan Jarrus has a backstory worth exploring. We saw Kanan Jarrus a little bit as a child when he was a Jedi. We saw him as an adult through to the end. I don't know if Kanan needs this middle story about jumping around and meeting Hera for the first time. It just
I would like to
see I would like to see a moment. I would like to see moments of characters' lives. I want to see them crossing paths with another character. In the Bad Batch, I would like to see Kanan Jarrus cross paths with the Bad Batch to help balance something that may.
I think he might appear in the next Jedi Fallen Order game. There's a lot of stuff teasing about them trying to reach out to other Jedis and find out who's because he already knows Saw Gerrera,
right? Yeah.
So it's not like they don't have ways to be able to link up with each other.
Right. Yeah.
Who'd you get? You just got Freddie Prinze Jr. Just.
I think Freddie Prinze Jr.'s ruined his goodwill with Disney. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But
they would have to get and they would have to get somebody younger anyway, because the fact is that Kanan Jarrus would only be in his teens in that time period.
He didn't.
So yeah,
didn't live long enough to be as old.
I do like Freddie Prinze Jr. though. He is fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not that I didn't like Andor. I didn't resonate with it as much and connect with it as much as I would have, say, Ahsoka. It was a bit too serious in some places and a bit too.
I just thought some of Andor didn't go to enough places for me. Like when we were following Cyril, his storyline was
didn't
just
go
a little bit.
Yeah.
It just felt like a downer to me.
Yeah. It was character stuff. I get that.
It was stoicism without the emotion for me. I feel like,
I didn't get emotionally connected to these characters in Andor. I think is the thing. I get emotionally connected to.
I liked a lot. He was just the one character that stuck out to me. It's just like he's eating cereal, and I felt nothing.
Yeah. Yes. Any thoughts there, Elijah, on characters and
in Ahsoka.
Well, no. Just in general, with their in the sense of like other characters and their stories and their backgrounds, stuff like that.
Oh, I mean, I think they could do. I mean, yeah, I think they could do a lot of different stories and a lot of different characters. Lando doesn't seem like the right one. That's all I was saying. But like, there are like tons of characters that would be really interesting to see. Like, even if they were little shorts, even if it was just like a series where we're just 30 minutes of this character for no reason. Like,
I would love that.
Joking like, but like, I'm only thinking Springfield of The Simpsons because
basically
like, literally every character in Springfield like could legitimately or has at one point had their entire story devoted to them. Like everyone down to the sea captain, down to like the most ridiculous characters have had the Bumblebee man, like everybody. There's like a backstory for everybody in The Simpsons, and they all kind of get their moment. Yeah. So it'd be fun to see those moments more in Star Wars, but obviously it's like a harder, it's movies versus TV versus funny versus whatever. Like, where are you going to set it? Like, it's almost like.
Well, they just did that a little bit with the comics. They gave a bunch of characters one shots, like Max Rebo, C-3PO.
And
the whole Jabba's Palace one shot.
Yeah,
the Visions
but to see something real in a film form, we saw it in animation with the Tales of the Jedi, of course.
Yeah, and the Visions,
Visions.
The Visions, the different short stories of those are different or separate. That's like a step closer.
Sure.
I don't think they would really do that, where they're just gonna like have like just Size Noodles and Max Rebo band touring, like for like they're touring with another group.
I'd watch it. I'd watch
it. They've got like roadies bringing in Max Rebo's thing. I
know.
They're confirmed to be one of the largest bands in the galaxy in the new Star Wars game. Like people talk about them, and they're one of the most revered bands in the galaxy.
Like it would be lovely to see like a Spinal Tap version of like the Max Rebo band or whatever.
That's Robot Chicken territory.
Yeah,
They've done stuff like that before. Like, like that would be a thing. We got a taste of that before.
But that made it fun. That kind of made it fun.
Right.
We saw the backstory to a freaking walrus man who got his arm chopped off in Robot Chicken as he was an architect before he lost his arm and he can't draw anymore. That's sad. That's just a sad story.
That's the territory you're kind of
Jedi
on because
slice his arm off.
Yeah, that's what we got from that, and that was at like a kind of a quiet time for Star Wars.
Right.
I think I was like in between the prequels and stuff.
But
I mean, that's what people are making. They're taking those characters and they're making a story because they want to see them. And it's just like I'm saying that one character, but it could be anybody. Like any Star Wars character would be interesting to see.
Yeah,
what their world is like. What do they do when they go home?
A brand new book just came out called From a Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi Star Wars. And basically it's 40 stories that are based around it. So they're doing it definitely in book form. But, God, it would be fun
to see
some of these just as live-action shorts.
It's just the hospital bots. It's just the robots in a hospital, like cracking jokes and fixing people in bantha tanks. And
we haven't talked about Ahsoka episode 5 yet. If that's
some light spoilers, you missed some light spoilers.
Yeah, little light ones. But if you haven't, we will be talking heavily on this week's episode 5 of Ahsoka soon. So we will be jumping into that.
As far as this character stuff, I think we all agree that we'd like to see a live action kind of one episode per character.
One-offs. Yeah.
In a thing.
Yeah.
Just showing the day to life of.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
and along with I would like to see David Attenborough, narrating.
That'd be awesome.
Narrating
the life of a Tauntaun.
Yeah, what Brent said.
That'd be so cool. That you could.
Would the life cycle include getting cut open and used to shelter?
Sure. Why
no,
not?
we need to go away from.
You're right. Yeah.
Like I hate this. Now that's what I don't like is when you said like Max Rebo's the biggest fan in the galaxy, it's just like because he was in the original movie. I think we need to venture away from all of that stuff.
Well, why else would he be playing Jabba's Palace?
You think he's going to get just one place in a shit planet.
You think he's gonna get a crappy little band to play? No, he's gonna get the biggest band in the galaxy. He's gonna get the Beatles of the galaxy.
It's just the house band.
Not the Beatles of the galaxy. They may be in Tatooine, maybe.
No.
But like, it's a large galaxy.
Yeah, and
then everything is.
That was just one stop on their tour.
Apparently, Tatooine's the center of the Star Wars universe at this point, and that's what bothers me about a lot of this stuff. It's like, no, that's an outskirt. It was supposed to be, but like everything happens there.
We'll make sure that we do one just for you, Jason. Star Wars, a Gonk story.
Oh yeah, I'm not the only person who'd want to see that.
No, I know that'd be kind of fun. Yeah. Just imagine a whole pile of gonk droids just gonking to each other, just having this
gonks making gonks,
just
like a gonk factory with gonk.
Like no English in the whole episode.
Yeah. No,
I would make it a sad story about Gonk's family abandoning him because he doesn't gonk right.
It would have to be emotional.
Yeah,
there would have to be some emotional weight in that.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
some good. That's some good story chops.
Just the gonk that goes gunk instead.
No, you had the gonk droid on
Rudolph.
You had the gonk droid on the Rebel cruiser having to get from place to place, helping the rebellion in that little tiny moment. No lead characters, nothing else. You just have a gonk droid.
All right, now
surviving
Now we're in Star Wars Lego territory.
Okay, fair enough.
Do they do that?
Gonk
fighting a Sarlacc.
I mean, that was like 3PO, like doing everything.
Yeah,
like
fair enough.
Like we've touched on, like Robot Chicken has done this type of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Star Wars Lego has done this type of stuff. Yeah. We're trying to find something more grounded in between that,
Oh, not another Tatooine story, please, Master.
There's so much Tatooine. It's crazy.
Yeah. There you go. Holiday special with the gonks. There you go. That'd be great.
Like imagine like all the events
all come together to charge up a Christmas tree.
It's like imagine all these events happening in the United States, but then everything goes back to like Antioch or something like that.
It's only
because Marvel Comics.
It's only because it's cheap to film in the desert. They're like, I
really would like to know too.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not that it's cheap. It's a pain in the ass, if anything.
Well, compared to Marvel Comics, everything happening in New York, it's like the hot spot for everywhere,
But that's New York, It that would make sense if everything was happening in Coruscant. Because
people
that is the center of everything.
Farms.
But what the reason they choose the desert is because we attach that to Star Wars so much. It's iconic. You see a desert and a robot there. That's the least you could do to get a Star Wars scene.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know. It's like they're afraid that fans have this collective amnesia that we'd forget if we don't remind them that Tatooine is a place.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I'm kind of sick of the Tatooine.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's way more stuff we can do.
Well, they did try.
What makes Ahsoka exciting because we got this red forest. It's awesome.
Sure, yeah.
We got different settings.
Yeah.
It's lush. We haven't seen one desert in Ahsoka.
We are about to go to a brand new galaxy this week, guys. I mean, let's see.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Before we even talk about episode 5, let's just premise about episode 6. We are going to see a brand new galaxy. I'm assuming it'll be around a single planet. What are we thinking we're going to see here?
They're going to run the Starship Enterprise, and it's going to be the Star Trek galaxy.
This is where they connect.
This is where they connect. Yeah, some Vulcans have the whatever.
We just reached our galaxy just 25 years, sometime in the future.
Probably some Star Destroyer wreckage.
Yeah.
Actually, technically, Star Wars is in a different galaxy, far away. Technically, in the past.
Yeah. A long time ago. Yes, exactly.
A long time ago. So if they go to our galaxy, they would be cavemen or something.
Yeah, good point. Exactly. Yeah, they probably come across cavemen us. So,
oh my gosh.
Do we think...
There is a comic where Indiana Jones finds the Millennium Falcon and it's like ancient.
The first Han Solo and Chewie crash and during the Mayan period or something like that.
Okay. Really? Yeah, I had heard about that.
And then it just flashes to Indiana Jones. It's kind of controversial, but it was kind of like a joke.
Yeah, that's why it's old legends. Do we think we're going to see Grand Admiral Thrawn this week? We've got 3 episodes left of the season.
We have to. If not, it's like I just think it's weird that heavily advertised. I know it's like heavily is kind of in quotes, but I mean, he was definitely something they focused on in the marketing.
Sure. Absolutely.
They showed him once in that trailer, and I think that's about what we're going to see in the last episode. I think he's going to turn around and it's going to be like,
all right,
Ron.
okay.
I mean,
what
that's
if
what
they
I'm guessing, because they haven't like mentioned him. I mean, they mentioned him, but like no screen time.
Okay. What if they bring him back and then they kill him right away? What do you guys think about that?
They bring him back and they kill him. Well, I don't think that's
like you
happen.
see him and then he gets shot by like
immediately.
Just some like X-wing pilot.
Then that would be the end of season 1 in series.
Jack
Ahsoka.
comes back and kills him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Quentin Tarantino episode that he directed.
Right. Oh, now we're in Tarantino territory.
It also brings up the question. You know, Thrawn was such a threat in this period that we never really got to see prior to A New Hope, and he disappeared before A New Hope. So with the idea of Grand Moff Thrawn, he is very quick and very easy to pick up resources. So I wonder if he's picked up resources of his own, been in this other galaxy for 10 years. I can't imagine he couldn't have a whole fleet of alien fighters behind him.
I heard he has an army of boglings.
Boglings.
Outside of having like a whole armada behind him, how is he one-on-one in a room locked with a Jedi?
Nothing. Yeah. That's my problem with Thrawn. Yeah. That's always my problem with Thrawn. It's like he's fighting Jedi who could just force choke him and send him off into space.
But they're hyping him up. They're hyping him up like he's Vader. You know?
Okay.
And that's like, all right,
is he worth this much hype?
They're threatening.
He's like a slightly smarter.
He's a brilliant tactician. He's probably one of the smartest tacticians.
Yes, you've said that many times.
Yes.
He's like a slightly smarter.
That could be a threat.
Without an army.
Right. So has he made an army in this?
I would like to see that, but like you know, his charisma points maxed out. Like his charisma ranking is that maxed that he could just like summon an army. That'd be great.
Probably.
It'd be like being locked in a room with Napoleon.
Well, no, it'd be like
like
Queen of Dragons.
How is he one-on-one?
You could pick him up and slam him to a wall if you're a Jedi. Like it'd be pretty easy to take him down.
Yeah, exactly.
Would be, yeah. But I mean, we don't know the relationship.
I would laugh to see that
him and Ezra Bridger too,
where Ahsoka's just slamming him up and down the ceiling and the floor.
Yeah,
like Shia LaBeouf and Constantine.
yeah.
We've got Ezra.
That's what's annoying me
and
about
Thrawn.
That's what's annoying me about like. Just everyone's like, oh, Thrawn, yeah. Oh, once we get
Thrawn, I know, it's so weird to have like the big bad in a show like this be just a guy that's blue.
It's the blue dude.
Elon Musk.
Yeah. I don't know.
Don't bring that up next week if we see Thrawn, because I know you're going to, but
I know he's a brilliant tacticianer. He sees art and he could plan around
he's
the
like
art.
The walking embodiment.
Wow.
Okay.
SpaceX.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Okay. We'll let Lars Nicholson's Mick Nicholson's performance resonate how that character comes across then. So let's not talk about where we're going. Let's talk about what we've just seen. Just jumping back onto track here for a little bit, guys. This week's episode. Let's talk about. Let's go from some smaller characters first.
Oh, Anchorman Ezra's just we're just gonna see that hologram of him. That's it. That's why he's in the IMDb.
That's it. Fair enough.
Is anyone else sick of Carson?
I'm personally not. I like Carson. I think he's there for good little laughs. Personally, Elijah, how does Carson fit into your grand scheme of things?
I like him. He seems like he seems like a more down to earth person. He doesn't seem like whatever. He's not like he's not a Jedi. He's just a pilot. He just seems like
just doing his job.
Just doing his job. He's just a normie. He's just doing his job, just doing his thing, and I kind of like that as he's just a general character that you can embrace quickly.
You could add him to the collection of X-wing pilots with names.
Yeah,
which is a relatively small collection.
Yeah, small. Which he hasn't died yet. He's like his career is like unless he jumps around jobs like. He's old. He's survived a lot apparently. So
he's this era's Wedge. Based on his.
He's got to be the best pilot in the galaxy.
Like with each other.
Yeah.
He probably trained under him.
That'd be kind of there might be a story.
No, I think he'd probably be a little older than Wedge.
I think they're like the same age. He's a little older.
He'd be a little
Wedge
older.
would be like what we saw him last.
That's Carson needs a better fitting suit, or look at a new tailor. I like that. That's funny. I'm surprised they haven't given him one of the blue uniforms yet. because he's still in his orange, Phoenix
That's
Squadron.
just the standard,
Yeah. Yeah, but most of the new pilot, we saw Zeb in the blue,
and not just different squadrons.
So Zeb
and it's interesting you bring up Zeb because he has not been seen once this season.
You're right.
But Brent,
not being mentioned once this season.
But Brent, isn't that just different squadrons? Like,
yeah, it could be.
No, well, it is, but because like in Rogue One, you see like Blue Squadron, and they're wearing blue.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, I guess we haven't seen. It just seemed that when we saw the pilots in Mando season 3, when they were in that little chill place, all the pilots were in the blue uniforms. They wasn't a mix of the orange. It seems like they were phasing out the orange Republic the rebel uniforms, because the orange was representation of the rebellion, and because the New Republic are trying to phase out the rebellion and the Empire, and not doing a good job at either.
Shouldn't Zeb be in the orange then?
Well, that's the thing. That's where I'm going with this. Like, there might be a story behind why he's not in orange there. Maybe he's.
I just said it's a different squadron.
No, but I'm saying.
No, I mean it could be like.
I'm saying in connection with
New Republic than the rebels.
Right. For the.
There might be a story between him and Hera, because he might have separated and split away from. Hera,
they don't have Empire money, so.
Sure. No, exactly. Being the case, I personally enjoy Carson. I think he's good for a bit of a laugh, and they had a few good laughs and a few good gimmicks and gags there in the episode. Let's talk about Jason Syndulla. Okay.
I know.
Okay, wait. Okay,
I like his character. I mean, he's not appealing to me, but I know he's from the Rebels show.
Okay.
He's from one episode. I wouldn't say he's ever been important before this.
Barely in an episode, dude.
In the reference of children in the Star Wars universe, when we had Child Anakin, the actor was not exactly portrayed, or wasn't exactly kindly greeted, and we saw that went down a very dark
I think we're in a different space now. I mean, I think the actor who played young Ahsoka has been getting a lot of praise.
By the way, she was young Gamora too. She
was young Gamora, and she was also the young girl in the Barbie movie, if anyone saw that.
Yeah, she was great in that, actually. But yeah, same actress.
Crazy how you would get cast for...
two different aliens.
Yeah. But
that's painted well, so...
Yeah. And she played it well, too. I thought she was amazing.
Yeah, honestly, they really sold you on like the idea of how young Ahsoka was when she joined just the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think kids are treated better now, than they were in the early 2000s.
There's more respect from
fan respect.
From a fan respect, yeah.
And we had that with young Leia too. I mean,
cautionary tale from Jake Lloyd. The Star Wars fandom sent him into a spiral of drug abuse and.
So going back, Elijah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're in the middle of your thoughts on Jason Syndulla in general as a kid or character in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I don't know. He's
Star Wars is no place for kids.
No. It's not that it has no place for kids. I'm not saying that. It's just his character is not do anything for me. It's just another Force-sensitive kid. It seems that they've done that before.
Sure.
And I mean, we were just talking, I guess talking about kids in other movies and stuff like that. I'm thinking back to when I was a kid, and even when I was a little kid, I am more looking at like movies where it's like, the young adult, like a Luke Skywalker age type of
coming of age
character,
child,
or like a high school age kid, a Daniel LaRusso, those. Slightly older kid, even when I am
teenage,
a little
teenage,
whatever, teenage, late teen, young teen, or whatever.
Sure.
I think that's what more I associated with as being a little kid, instead of watching movies with little kids being the heroes or the main adventure. I mean, like Goonies at the is the only one I can think of where it's like really younger kids and they have like a more heroic role, or like a one that you want to like emulate or whatever.
That you're rooting for as a character.
So I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's necessary to cast as young younger kids, cause it's just I think it's harder to cast the right kid and have it pull off the right way. Otherwise, they just come off like a young kid.
Well, and this kid's done a lot of acting. Like this, I looked at this kid's IMDb page. He's done a ton of
and I'm not saying he's a bad actor or anything like that. I'm just saying that I don't know. I'm just saying the character in general itself. Like I don't know much about it. Like he doesn't look like he should be the son of this of her, just because he doesn't have any tentacles. Character wise, like if he had tentacles, and he looked more like her. Like it would make more sense. He just got green hair, and that doesn't make
Unfortunately, his look has been established in Rebels already.
Yeah, which from cartoon to live action, you think you could change it.
Yeah,
I think that affects it a little bit, but also it's just the character of another young kid. Like
you meant changing things like Ahsoka the White being seen in the end of Star Wars Rebels, not Ahsoka the Grey, who we do see in live action in that one scene.
I mean,
I know.
That's a different comparison, but I'm just saying.
Sure.
Whatever. And I'm also saying, like, when I was a younger kid, like I wasn't looking at like someone my same age. I was looking at like the 10 years older than I am for a person I would be like looking at as like a heroic character.
This kid is also, this actor and the child and the character have got room to grow, because it seems like they're setting up something for hopefully in the future with Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy, temple, whatever. Because we've got
they definitely
young Ben
Kenobi. The next slate of the universe is called the New Jedi Order, and they haven't announced anything for it. And that seems like a big thing to just name it the new Jedi Order and not have any order established.
Yeah, between Grogu, between these other characters, you've got actors, Jedi Force-sensitive characters who will be teenagers.
Not to do a Muppet Babies in Space type of movie.
No, but I'm saying if you set up all these young children characters, they're going to become young adult characters at a certain point. Now you're invested in coming together.
I think they're going to recast Jason with Michael Cera when they do the live action big movie.
Yeah. Fair enough. Jason, what are your thoughts on Jason Syndulla?
So Jason Syndulla, would he be as old as like Poe Dameron?
By the time, no, he'd be as old as he'd be a little bit older than Rey and
he'd be like an elder to them.
Well, it'd be like 30, I think Poe Dameron's a little older than 30 years is like. That's the sequels, right?
20-ish years from now, so he'd be 26.
I guess he would be around Poe's age. He would be
Poe's age, right? Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah,
because Ben would be because I think Ben Solo's a baby at this point or thereabouts.
And so Poe is a little older than them, and I feel like a character like him remembers the rebellion and stuff like that. So I think he'd be Poe's age, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's a sad story. He may die at Luke's, by the hands of Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren too, and Luke's Jedi Temple. We don't. There's a chance
he might.
Yes.
Do I like the sequels? We have them. They're there. Nothing we could do about it.
There you go.
There's some great shots. It's some good
cinematography, great.
Choreography, cinematography. All master.
That's one of the best looking Star Wars fights. I'll give them that.
Like you take screenshots from that, you take screenshots from the prequels, and oh man, way better.
Oh yeah.
And,
actually, I do think the prequels had better choreography in terms of
had a different type of choreography.
Yeah.
But
different feeling. I mean, I'd say the sequels definitely felt bigger, but the prequels, the fights felt more personal and felt a little more true to nature.
You're asking me about Jason Syndulla.
Yep.
No issue with him. I don't know what Elijah's yammering about. But just kidding. I'm joking. Is it to him? It's just another.
Malloy, thanks for joining.
Later, Malloy. It's just another like young Princess Leia all over again.
Sure. Okay.
You notice they just don't resonate. They just don't resonate with the kid actors.
Max, your connection there? Sorry, Jason. Go for it.
No, I thought it was great. Star Wars is for kids, so it's nice to attach a kid to them. Like, you know what? There are no kids in the original trilogy.
Nope, you're right.
They didn't really bring kids on the scene until the Ewok movies or whatever.
Sure. Yeah,
and those sucked. from what I remember.
Well, they had a purpose, but yeah. Anyway,
I think
there was
Barney
was a kid.
I think
Barney
there is something to do.
Yeah.
I think there's something there that I'm just going. You're going back to like the Joseph Campbell, like hero's journey type thing. Right. There's a little bit something different when someone's at a different age and they start their journey at a different age versus being a little baby with powers or a little kid with powers.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
No, yeah, totally. I agree.
That's it.
I see him and I see like, oh, he's doomed to be a boring Jedi.
Okay.
That's what I get from him, like sensing it. It's like, oh, cool, a Jedi. Oh, he's in for a boring or tragic life.
Well, yeah, good point. Good point. There was this moment here when he reached out with the Force, and the last thing I was expecting him to say, "Do you hear the lightsabers?" That kind of threw me. I was like, "Oh wow, he's actually kind of opened this door of the world between worlds to a certain degree, which is where
it's a very may or may not be that power."
Is it though? I mean,
he had a very distinct connection to the Force that was different than other people. I mean, think about the way he trained. It was a very kind of blunt connection, where as opposed to Ezra, who had a very flowing connection, who could talk to like animals.
Yeah, actually, Kanan Jarrus is probably more like Qui-Gon Jinn than anybody else in the way.
So this establishes that you can pass your skills through your loins.
I mean, there was other things that happened that was also.
But wait, Jason, yeah, but midichlorian, yeah, exactly. But that also goes to the question.
Do they remember the midichlorians that you get from your dad? Remember your training?
Why was the purpose that the Jedi decided not to procreate and
cut
that off? No, not because they suck, because they were afraid that they might even thin out. Maybe they were afraid they were going to thin out their bloodline of midichlorians. Maybe not. That makes no sense either. Because it's like there are new people that are brought into the Force, into the fold all the time.
It's not. They never talk. The concept of passing your powers to the next person is outside of the Jedi Order.
Right.
You know, they're poaching.
We've seen it happen with Luke and Anakin.
But that's what we got with
but that only leads to destruction. If anything that's been proven in the Star Wars universe, if you were to pass your skills via loins, it only leads to destruction.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Max, any last thoughts on Jason Syndulla?
I think he would be a prime candidate for that next order of Jedis. I think we're gonna need some established people on the council to make for fan friendliness, and for also lore reasons of people who've been around. We can't just have a bunch of random.
We're talking about Luke's eventual Jedi Academy, right?
I don't think I'm thinking Rey's general. Jedi.
You think he's gonna kind of disappear and come back at some point?
That's the next thing that they announced, was that the next, even if it's not a phase, they announced the next era is called the New Jedi Order, and I think we need people on that council who have not only been through it for lore reasons, but people we know
that could be interesting.
Just a bunch of other Jedis just Obi-Waning out there, and then they come out of hiding.
Sure. And I guess Balon disappeared for all this period of time. And
Jason Syndulla.
That could be cool.
That's the other thing that's opening up. There's a lot more Jedi out there than previously established. I mean, it's not just people like Cal Kestis out there fighting, and then Ahsoka out there, and then the people that she kind of trained with Ezra and Hera and all those other people.
There's still kid Jedis out there who aren't getting any training.
Well, we've got the little sweeper kid, the broom kid at the end of,
He's a Sith. He's confirmed Sith. He was reaching out to the dark side.
There you go, with the broom.
He's too old. Too old.
Anyway.
There's just, the Jedis keep being made. It's like just no Jedi has been trained.
The midichlorians build up, and I guess
that was another biggest, travesty of the new movies is, there was no Jedi Order or even an attempt at it. There's no moment where Rey was like, what if we sought out and tried to see if we can make this bigger? It was even same thing with the writers. They were so focused on the rebellion of the original trilogy, they forgot about the Jedi Order of the prequels.
Yeah.
The most she got was let me save the ancient Jedi text.
Oh yeah,
there was that.
The books
saved them. They're in the Falcon. They're in the
that was the biggest drag for me, was that there was a Jedi Order that we didn't see because it got destroyed before the movie happened because Ben Solo's a little
wiener.
Yeah, I was trying to find the right word to use.
I'm sorry, I'm not a Ben Solo fan. I
think he's just his like. I thought
he's way too emo
best as a Jedi, but him as Kylo Ren just did not sit. It wasn't cool. The idea as soon as he took his mask off, he felt like such a tryhard.
I keep answering this, Anchorman, but I don't hate the sequels. There's definitely story parts that worked, and there are story parts that didn't work for me. It's.
But I still think when he took his mask off, it felt like if Doctor Doom took his mask off and he's just Chris Hemsworth under there looking beautiful. It's like none of this makes any sense.
He takes his mask off and he starts singing a My Chemical Romance song or something.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Let's jump back into Ahsoka, guys. We jump into the world between worlds at this point. And over the course of this, we get a series of flashbacks where these are character posters, by the way, where we have Anakin, young Ahsoka, and Captain Rex. And
that's just a vanity poster. Rex was barely in the episode.
Rex was, but come on, he was still there. He was background. It was.
I wonder if they
fun to see
actually commissioned a costume to be made, or if they reached out to 501st Legion and said, "Do you have a Rex costume?"
I'm sure that. I'm sure
there are a lot of people who have got Rex costumes out there.
I know. That's why I wonder if they made one themselves, or if they just said, "Yeah, I know a bunch of people have these screen accurate."
I would have said that they would have gone screen accurate with that, and that would be one of the 501st, and they just dubbed tomorrow's voice over the top. But it was still a moment. I mean, for the fans of the Clone Wars, just to see Anakin in this uniform. Look,
it felt cathartic almost seeing the Clone Wars look so brutal when in the movies they're portrayed almost like an adventure, and then even in the shows they're portrayed. The big battles are portrayed very like Anakin commits war crimes with a smile in the show.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Good point.
Think about the first episode of the last season when Anakin is lying to the droids about a fake surrender so they can go around and kill them. Like that's a war crime.
Droids. They are droids technically, so it's like
Is it bad? That's what I was thinking when Ahsoka was sad about the clones, and I was like, well, that's kind of what they're made for.
Right.
Wait, are you talking about the reprogrammed droids?
No, I was talking about when Anakin lies to a bunch of droids with a fake surrender to kill them.
This is in the Siege of Mandalore, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But going through just those sequences in live action, because all of the Attack of the Clones movie, every single clone was CGI at that point, and it's it has aged not as well when you're looking at the visuals. But you can get to see Tamara Morrison's head floating around on some of the helmets. Even when he was playing Cody, it was just his head floating around on the body.
That's crazy that like when they filmed those, those suits didn't even exist.
Yeah,
in like the real world.
But it also
it would have cost a fortune to make all of those clone suits.
Yeah, not just a fortune, but on top of it,
well, they do the same method they make the stormtrooper suits. Did that cost billions?
If you do take a look though, the clones themselves are definitely a little bit wider than what you see in the Attack of the Clones. The Attack of the Clone Troopers had very slim bodysuits. And once you put a physical person in something that looks narrow and physically
stylized, it's stylized for the cartoon. Like
totally.
Dooku wasn't as like.
Oh no, I'm talking about the film, the feature film. But
but
when you put them into a physical, full on uniform,
like it's a real practical suit.
It is a little bit bustier in the body because it has to be the way the clone trooper fits a human being in general. And you saw that when you saw just the standard clone troopers running past. It's like, well, they look a little heftier than normal, but at the same time, I think that's what Lucas was trying to take away from it. He didn't want it to feel like it was a.
The scene felt like I don't want to say clunky, but it felt like everything was like a war film where it didn't feel smooth and didn't feel like like it was trying to look cool. It was trying to look like devastating. And it really. The clone troopers with all this stuff on them looking kind of thicker kind of sold that look.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they managed to like portray some of the Clone Wars in a budget as well.
Oh, totally.
Because of the haze
the
and like
fall of
kind of
the
like
Siege of Mandalore.
It's the best use of. There's some good use of the volume.
Yeah, some of the actually, I believe I've been told. I've actually heard that this is a lot of the background. Some of this is volume, and some of it is actually just green screen. Apparently, they used fog on a green screen in the particular cases. So
that works, but like it's not as wide as they're medium shots, But then they kind of camera tricks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's perfect use. Chef's kiss to that.
It looks so good, and the
to
other
still
thing
feel
that
vast and like claustrophobic at the same time.
But
like,
on top of it,
stuff.
You could also consider the fact they're still in the world between worlds, so the additional fog also could represent this place between life and death anyway. So you're getting this hazy surrounding. So even if the sequence was
perfect.
live action and clearer on a clear day, it totally worked for this story in this episode.
But if anything, that's what all the devastation stuff would look like that in reality.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we did see it in Solo. Solo, we got a scene where Han's like, what are we doing? And the explosions in
Star Wars.
It looks so good.
There, I guess that and the opening shot with Finn and were the only shots that made war look actually crazy in Star Wars.
Sure. Totally.
You never see that because
adventure style shots.
Yeah.
Because in the world where they have starships and stuff, like ground fighting shouldn't even be a thing in some cases.
Yeah.
Why is that even still a thing?
Yeah,
because they have to take control of the planet. The only way to do that is by having actual.
It's about the resources.
They
don't want to destroy the resources by destroying the planet.
They've managed to write in why we'd have ground troops anyways.
Yeah,
you have to disarm a shield.
Yeah,
for instance.
Yeah.
Something.
There's also analog, so you need those people to disrupt all those analog systems.
Yeah. Elijah, any of your insight here into the clone battles that we saw between?
I thought it looked cool. I mean, I think I said Apocalypse Now at some point when we were watching it, I'm like, it totally was the only thing that was missing was the choppers going by for me. Like I mean, it felt like a war.
They had drop ships coming by. Did you see all drop ships?
Yeah. But it totally felt like a good war scene. Like that.
Yeah.
It felt heavy and it was emotional and like believable.
Yeah.
With just how they had the shot set up, it was great. I loved how that looked.
Yeah.
It was part of my favorite part of that episode.
I mean, I know that they've done the animated series of the Clone Wars, and we've seen a whole lot of backstory going on there in the animated. If you go back and rewatch it, there's some great little stories. But I would be an applicant to wanting to see a short-lived series just on different events, one-shots. Once again, do a 45-minute episode on.
Well, you do a whole Rex episode.
Rex episode.
What time it is, like jump around, like doesn't matter, like when it is.
And just do a story arc and a one-off story that has a beginning and an end in that one story to. You pick a little family on the middle of a planet who the battle droids are attacking and are defended by the clone troopers. You pick a story around a totally separate thing. You pick a bounty hunter in the middle of the Clone Wars. You pick and you do these individual one-shot stories in the Clone Wars era. With all this going around, I would love to go back and revisit the Clone Wars in live action. And
they could be executed in different genre of film too.
Yeah.
I think a Rex project would be interesting because he's it's just the whole idea of a clone leader with kind of his own personality, but a bunch of kind of faceless people with his same face dying around him. That's got to be it's just an insane way to live.
Yeah. Let's totally. Let's.
I like that.
Sorry. No, go for it.
No, I like that. Hayden Christensen was able to do more with Anakin, better than we've seen in anything else.
Oh, performance-wise,
he was able to portray the Anakin I wanted to see at the end of Revenge of the Sith. This is how I wanted to see him. But somehow
let's talk about these shots. Let's talk about these.
That's a good point because that character of Anakin was stand out to me even over the the prequel movie.
Yeah, like I like that his performance dealt a lot more emotion than he did in those two sequel movies.
You could add that up to 20 years of acting experience, obviously, and getting
whatever reason it is. That's what I see, you know.
Or you could pick it up to that George Lucas was never necessarily a good director of actors, as he's always admitted.
Yeah, that's mostly probably what it is.
And that mostly is. I agree, but at the same time,
because he's great in Punisher.
But that's the thing. It's like, yeah. Hayden Christensen is a decent actor, and it shows through, and you see that.
What did George see him in? A Goosebumps?
What's that?
You saw him in an episode of Goosebumps. He's like, "Oh, I want that kid for Anakin."
Maybe.
Why is he watching Goosebumps?
I don't know.
Maybe he's looking at child actors.
He was looking for child actors. So I don't know. Let's talk about.
That makes it weirder.
Really scared.
Dave Filoni directed this episode. We got some great chilling shots of Anakin and Vader snipping between shots and frames.
That was cool.
So much material for Instagram remixes. I've seen so many this week.
Oh, really? That's funny.
I wish we got one shot of Ahsoka fighting Vader, like in the outfit.
Well, did you also catch? Also, Ahsoka's eyes went yellow. She almost went dark side. And
to show that's where she lives. She's between the light and the dark.
Yeah.
Non-binary Jedi.
Yeah. That's.
I stopped saying gray Jedi and I just say non-binary Jedi, and Brent seems
to make me happy. Yeah. Because this is all I have to say.
Non-color coded Jedi.
Yeah, non-color coded.
There you go.
She got those flamingo eyes, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they put it in there. I didn't catch it on our reaction initially. I think I had tears in my eyes of how cool the scene was. But after rewatching, it's like, yeah, it was just cool to see. And that's right when she gives, says, she does a Luke Skywalker and throws down the lightsaber and kind of says, I want to live. And
she asks him, she confronts him about his war crimes, and he just gets mad.
That's it.
I like that. That's a good way of getting around having to explain it.
Mm-hmm. And we get to this point. We leave the world between worlds, and Ahsoka comes out, and she's got for the first time we've ever seen
no headband. It's
no
weird.
Headband. But you can see her ears. You can actually. Her ears are down. Her ears. She's got 3 little dots on the side.
Wait, go back. I didn't see that.
You can barely see it in this shot.
Those slit things.
There is 3 little slits right where the Laku meet at the neck. And there's 3 little dots in certain angles. You can see her actual. They are ears as 3 dots, which is kind of a cool design. But yeah, I think Jason, you were freaked out by this. I was kind of like, this is kind of cool. It was just as interesting.
I didn't say freaked out. I just noted. I was like, whoa, oh, look at that. They've never seen it without a.
Oh, okay.
They didn't really have to.
Chris, yes, we know. I saw it. You got to see this in theaters, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
How crazy that you got to see that in theaters this episode. It must have been amazing to have seen.
No, back to what she was like, headbandless. Mm-hmm. It's like they never really thought of that transition before until this, and they had to make a decision.
Right.
They had to I guess just go straight to white from her skin.
I'm going to imagine that the makeup is obviously separate from a headpiece anyway, so they probably had to do this actual look every day when they made up Rosario in makeup, I'm guessing.
No, on this specific day, they had to blend it a little bit.
Blend in. Yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's kind of cool. I like the idea of that blend. I thought it was interesting, an interesting look of transition. Of course, then at that point we get Ahsoka the White. Huyang gives us some white robes and stuff like that, and we get this wonderful, incredible look of this.
Huyang was a Lord of the Rings fan. He was like, you know what? Since
she's going in white, we saw a change. Now, for weeks, you guys were going, Ahsoka's very stoic. She's very boring. She's not interesting to watch. And I've been pleading. Is like I feel like there's something going on here.
Okay, we know you're right. Yeah. We made it clear.
No, but
no, that's a good call. Yeah. Good call. I wasn't expecting that. You totally called.
Neither was I. No, deeply down, I was not expecting that we would get that kind of transition until I was seeing how stoic she was, because I know for a fact and Max, you'd know from watching the Clone Wars and everything, that this is not the Ahsoka we knew and grew to love. And she was a very different character all these years later. And I thought it was just chopped up to experience and age. But it was more than that. There was something massively eating at her. And her connection to Anakin was still eating at her so badly that we got this enlightened Ahsoka who smiled and could joke again. And that feels like what we're gonna see from here on in for the rest of the show itself.
I like that.
I think part of it was Anakin calling her Snips, bringing her back to a place in her childhood. But also when Anakin made that remark about when she said, "Are you joking at a time like this?" And he said, "What do you expect me to do?" All I could think about was Ahsoka was the same way. She would always be, in peril but making jokes.
Sure. Yeah, and she was.
I think it was this episode that made her realize that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was this episode that made her realize that the lighthearted nature helped alleviate her trauma, and losing that part of herself let the trauma take over.
Mm-hmm.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I like that there kind of is like a subtle theme of trauma between a lot of the main characters in in this series so far.
Yeah.
Like even Balon too. He could be a result of some.
I think he's got some extreme trauma going on. I mean, there's a reason his lightsaber's orange.
Yeah, right. So that seems to be like a connecting theme for a lot of these characters.
I'm still hoping we do get a bit more backstory to Shin and Balon in the future episodes because
just enough to make it good, not too much.
Don't
Boba Fett him.
And then just to start winding things down, guys, we end up by coming across a whole pile of Purrgil, which giant space whales, and Ahsoka and Huyang hitch a ride. I again, the callback to Rebels with this whole side story they did as a one-off side story where Ezra connects to these creatures. I loved it. A lot of people didn't like the episode. Enjoyed. No, a lot of people didn't. No, they didn't like the animated story episode of Ezra and these giant space whales.
I thought you were talking about.
Sorry. No. The animated. No. I'm talking about the animated space whales. I was like, this is kind of cool. And when they brought it back at the end of Rebels, I was like, okay, I like that tie-in. I wish we had a little bit more tie-in with those creatures throughout the show from that moment they were introduced, but we did not. It just went from one to the other. But to see that they went out of their way to include one of these things in the background of Mandalorian, we talked about when watching Mandalorian season 3, and Grogu is looking out, and you see that shape in hyperspace moving along. We actually saw a Purrgil in hyperspace. Was kind of cool.
You want to kind of ease them in onto the live action,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they kind of had to. They started with Mando, kind of teasing the idea that these things travel next to ships in the galaxy, and they can probably go just as far, if not farther.
Yeah.
Just like ocean ships.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, space is just a giant ocean.
Yeah,
so,
I did like that.
What people do when they see all the Purrgil coming to their planet for whatever reason. Like if you're just like, you're living on Tatooine, all the Purrgil's like, well, we've come here to dock. You're like, what do you mean? We can support you.
The birds are coming. Watch out for the bird droppings.
It's like, what do you do if you're taking off a ship and a Purrgil's coming at you? Like, divert course immediately. There's a whale in the sky.
Hera specifically says in Rebels, she was
They take out ships, yeah.
They wipe out ships, and she's like, they're a menace to space travelers, and she
just like real whales.
Yeah, just like real whales.
Ocean.
Yeah.
And connections there. It's obvious.
Oh,
it's
totally.
Kind of heavy-handed, but it's there.
Yeah,
I saw a video of an orca chasing a fishing boat today, and the caption was "Purrgil's coming for Thrawn."
That's funny. Either way, it's at the end of the day. I love this episode. I think we all had a lot of fun with.
I like that they ended up, being rebels. Mm-hmm. Had to rebel against the New Republic.
Yes,
that was good.
Back to form.
Hera's in trouble. I think she's going to get stripped of her rank. I feel like we're going to see a Hera going out in her own kind of thing after this, which is kind of weird because she spent a lot of her life, connected to the rebellion and the Republic and everything. So,
well, it's either you die a rebel or you live long enough to see yourself become the Empire.
Ooh, snap! That's a good one. I like that. So I guess we'll see what happens with Hera's story in the coming weeks. This series is ramping up to. I keep reading there's going to be a season 2. They haven't officially announced a season 2, but I think
of course we're gonna get Thrawn for like 2 minutes, and then the season's gonna end.
Yeah,
well,
I'm just putting that out there because that's not what I want.
All right. Okay.
You know?
Well, I mean,
I think it's going to be a reverse He Who Remains, where He Who Remains was there for like 3 seconds, made a huge impact, and then was so excited to be out and die. I think Thrawn's going to show up, insist he's super important, and the show's going to end.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I kind of hope, because we got a very Ahsoka heavy arc this week, I'm hoping we get a Balon heavy arc next week. I need to know more about Balon and Shin's connection and relationship.
Well,
there's a lot of people saying that she might be his daughter, is another rumor too, which is an interesting theory.
No, she's too feral to be his daughter. If she was his daughter, she'd be well behaved. She's straight up feral.
Is Ezra dead?
Yeah, I love how feral she is.
I don't know. They're not going to be building up to Ezra just to have him be dead on the other side of the galaxy. I want to know if Ezra has joined forces with Thrawn. I mean, Thrawn is
I think so. I think that's going to be the big twist, is that Thrawn and Ezra are now on the same side. I think they've seen something out in the galaxy.
It could be. Ezra always had this edge of darkness. Yeah.
Because they were like they had an adventure together without their weapons.
Well, they've had 10.
I think they should have given Thrawn a beard. That would have been funny if he has like a big like Castaway's beard.
I
like that. Yeah, they kind of got marooned.
Shin is Chris's future wife. That makes sense. Absolutely.
I want to see Shin, the actress, play the character Feral from X-Force, who's just like a crazy feral mutant. I think she'd kill it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They might focus back. The episode's probably going to be on what's her name? Why can't I think of her name?
Esbeth Morgan.
What?
No, Sabine.
Sabine. Oh, yeah, because Sabine's.
So we might get some
last week.
Yeah. Since she's like working closely with Balon, maybe he'll reveal some stuff to her.
I think that's the prelude to Ezra and Thrawn working together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, is Sabine going to go kind of towards the dark side here, and will she stay on that path?
I don't think she's going to go towards the dark side. I think she's going towards the Ezra side.
The orange side, whatever Balon's.
But attachment is a passage and a path to the dark side, and her attachment to finding Ezra has become more of an obsession. She's on that path already.
But they used that to sway her away from, the Jedi side.
Yeah.
So.
And it was also, there was a very interesting look on Ahsoka's face too, about how she's going to be dealing and how she's going to have to deal with Sabine, who is more or less betrayed.
Well, she knows what it's like to stray from the path of the Jedi. Sure. I think Ahsoka's gonna. I always been thinking since the start of the season,
she's like
the moment that brings Ahsoka back to the light side of the Force.
Yeah. Mind you, that was
like everything's going as planned.
Yeah,
she's like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
This is the type of training she needs.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to tie it up here. I think we're all excited to see where this series goes. Where is this series landing right now for you in comparison to, say, Mandalorian?
Better than Obi-Wan, better than Boba Fett, slightly better than Mando Season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it a lot. Elijah, your thoughts?
It's higher up there. I mean, I think Mandalorian, the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian were way up there. This is just under that. Like I did like the second. I like Andor, but I like the second half of Andor more than the first half.
Sure. Yeah.
And I like. It feels like I like the second half of this one. Well, we'll see where this goes, but
right, for sure. Yeah. No, you're right. It was a slow burn at the first half of Ahsoka, but there was a lot of character and needing to get people up to speed with characters in that world. So. But yeah, hey Jacob. Sorry, we're just finishing up, dude.
We're just done.
Yeah, we're just done. But Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for joining us. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I've got some unboxing videos I'll be dropping during the week. We will be reacting to Ahsoka episode 6 this Tuesday night and dropping our episode. And then on Wednesday, we'll have Jason's channel as well on Twitch, which we'll be on. And any thoughts for upcoming that you're doing this week, Jason, on your Twitch channel? just whatever goes, or just whatever goes.
That's usually
we have some fun conversations and stuff, sometimes about movies, sometimes about tech and information. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us in the chat, and we shall catch you all later.